Y'all know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
What's up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Today's video is about having fewer regrets in life. Having fewer regrets, fewer times where you can look back on a situation, whether it was yesterday, last year, or last month, and say, damn, I wish I did. I wish I had said that. I wish I had taken that action. I wish I had capitalized on that opportunity. I wish I had made an effort to create that opportunity. I wish I had reached out to that person. I wish I had followed up more often. I wish I had been a little bit more serious. How can we get rid of these regrets? Me personally, I'm a person who I don't work in regrets. Even if there's something that could have gone better, even if there's something that I could say, man, there with that situation, it definitely could have had a different outcome. I don't look at anything as a regret, because everything that takes place builds you into the person you are today. Everything you've gone through to this point, you watching this video, has built you into the person you are right now. Whether you liked those things or you didn't like them, and with almost all of us, it's going to be a combination of both. But you wouldn't be where you are at this moment, even watching this video, if you hadn't been through all the things that you have been through. However, there are still some people who may in the future end up with some regrets. Maybe you have a regret right now that you're thinking about that led you to watching this video. So what I'm going to give you here is 3 specific tips to make sure that if you apply these, you won't have any regrets anymore for the rest of your life. You ready for that? Excellent. Here's number 1. Take more action, spend more time in action, and less time in reflection on things that you haven't done yet. More time in action and less time in ponderance, less time in reflecting before you've even done anything. More time just doing it. Y'all know the Nike slogan is just do it. Action, ladies and gentlemen, is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Personal initiative. Initiative means to go first. It means to go and take some action. Personal initiative is to take action without being forced to do it, without being told to do it, without getting permission to do it, without anything acting from the outside to make you do it. You just do it because you want to. That's what personal initiative means. Doing something because you want to do it. So the number one key for you to not have any regrets in life, or to stop having regrets if you have any up to this point, is to take more action. Don't think yourself out of action. That's what a lot of people do that kills their opportunities before they even happen. They start thinking about it. Well, they might say this and this might happen and I don't know, and this person went through it and they didn't get what they wanted, and they basically think their way out of their possible success. They could have been successful, but they think their way out of it. You want to make sure you don't make that mistake. And how you're going to make sure you don't make that mistake is very simple. Take action. When you have an idea, when you see an opportunity, when you get one of those hunches or those instincts that says, do this, train yourself. Start conditioning yourself to take that action instead of thinking about it, putting it on the back burner, writing it down, remembering 3 weeks later, oh man, I could have did that. Just do it. Just take the action and just do it. More action, less reflection. That's point number 1. Point number 2. To avoid having regrets, to get rid of regrets from this point forward for the rest of your life, think about the most ridiculous ideas you've had, the most ridiculous things that you're like, man, it'd be crazy if I would have did that. Wouldn't it be something if I would have said that? What if I would have stepped forward and tried this? What if we would have actually tried that initiative instead of just talking about it and dreaming about it and laughing about it? What if we had actually done that? Think about the most ridiculous things, the most outlandish ideas, the ones that are the most bold, the most ambitious thoughts that you've had, and you're like, man, it would be something crazy if we were to actually do that, and then do it. Think of the most ridiculous ideas you have, and then go do one. Maybe try once a week, once a month, at least, at the latest once a month. Think of some ridiculous idea you have, and every month you got to follow through on some ridiculous idea, some ridiculous initiative, and see if it works out. Now, if you really want to fast track this, change it to once a week. And if you really want to fast track it, change it to once a day. Do one thing ridiculous a day. That one thing might be calling up the president and saying, hey, let me speak to him. Might be calling the CEO of your company. Might be going into your boss's office and saying, hey, I want a 100% raise. I want you to double my salary starting with my next paycheck. Think of your most ridiculous ideas and take action on them. And what you're going to find is the reason why, first of all, the reason why you see them as ridiculous is because you think I would never do that. So now you're going to start basically building your confidence, building your self-image, building your self-esteem, because you're going to be trying these things. Even if none of them work out, just the act of trying them and not being afraid, or maybe being afraid and doing it anyway, what some people say is the definition of courage. If you do that, you're going to start building your own confidence. It's going to expand your life, expand your mind, and expand the possibilities for you. So think about those, what are those ridiculous things, and go do them. And know what the other thing's going to happen when you start doing those ridiculous things? You're going to build other people's confidence in you. Other people are going to believe in you a whole lot more. Other people are going to see you as a bigger person because you're willing to ask for the things that you want instead of just thinking about it, saying, man, that would be great if that was to ever work out, but actually doing it. Y'all understand that? So think of the most ridiculous ideas, those big crazy ideas, and go act on them. That's point number 2. And here's point number 3. So the first one we had was more action, less reflection. The second one is to think of the most ridiculous ideas and go take action on them. Here's the third one. You're going to ask yourself a question. Would I rather, and this is a simple question, would I rather look back on things that have happened in my life and say, damn, maybe I did too much. Maybe I shouldn't have said something right there. Maybe I should not have tried that. Maybe I could have just stayed where I was. Maybe I went a little bit too far in that situation. If you start taking these, doing point number 1 and number 2 that I told you, you're going to have some of those. There's going to be times when you say something and you're like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I shouldn't have gone that far. Maybe I could have been a little bit nicer. Maybe I was a little too bold in that situation. Would you rather have that as something that you're thinking to yourself, or would you rather have, man, I wonder what would have happened if? I wonder what would have happened if I would have said something. I wonder what would have happened if I would have really acted on that opportunity. I wonder what would have happened if I had taken advantage of the chances that were on my hands. I wonder what would have happened if I had been a little bit more confident in myself, or taken a little bit more action, or not just thought about things so much and actually went and did them. I wonder if I would have actually tried that ridiculous idea I had just to see what would have happened. Would you rather have the regret of, if you're going to have regret, or if you're going to look back on something and say, okay, maybe that could have went differently? That's not necessarily regret. You could just say, hey, you know what, that didn't work out the right way. Would you rather things not work out because you went too far, or because you didn't go far enough? That's the third question. That's the third point. That's the question you're going to ask yourself. And ask yourself this every time you're considering taking action instead of thinking about it. Would I rather go too far or not go far enough? Ask yourself every time you're considering trying a ridiculous idea. Would I rather go too far or not go too far enough? Write that question down, put it on your mirror, put it in your car, put it in your notebook, anywhere you're going to see it every single day, and ask yourself that question as often as you can and see what you come with. Everybody, my name is Dre Baldwin. My website's called DreAllDay.com. My everyday podcast is called Work on Your Games. Every single day, covering topics like this one: mental toughness, confidence, discipline, and personal initiative. If you need any of those, get it from me, because you can't get it any better from anywhere else. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.